The conversation has certainly changed from being lots of people shouting about concerns to we're actually having an engaged and a more thoughtful debate, which means that it's a little bit less noisy perhaps as it was this time last year. The questions about social games leading people to have gambling problems as a discussion has died down slightly, and that's probably due to the fact that we haven't seen a massive rise in problem gambling. There hasn't been any data to suggest that the hypothetical concerns that social games pose are actually coming to any fruit. The issues that social games are raising are more around the consumer behavior issues. So I think they'll slip down the gambling conference agenda. The US, of course, is preoccupied with the liberalization of real money gambling, and so the questions around social games perhaps are less challenging. The US have a much freer market in general in terms of development and innovation. Europe, particularly continental Europe, has a much more kind of you need to ask for permission first, whereas the Americans tend to go for the asking for forgiveness model. A lot of the consumer protection regulation has been set at a European level and is interpreted locally, but the principles, could be used and replicated across Europe in a very helpful way. We know that the Australian ACCC have already mentioned last year that they will be continuing to keep a close eye on what the UK has been doing, and we know that other European consumer protection regulators will be interested to see this as well. So we do expect to see some use or sharing and sharing the knowledge base that the UK OFT have already developed, which would make sense, which would again be more helpful. The UK is a great has many great companies that are creating social apps and social games and have in-app purchases, but there are other European markets as well that are doing very well, in Germany and France in particular. So I'm sure that they will replicate the principles and localize them to make them relevant for their market.